Why won't France turn off the money faucet, even as its economy teeters on the brink of disaster? Picture this: a nation renowned for its croissants, couture, and centuries of revolution, now staring down a debt mountain so steep it could bury the Eiffel Tower. It's October 2025, and France's public deficit is clocking in at 5.8% of GDP, the highest in the Eurozone, while its debt-to-GDP ratio hovers at a dizzying 114%. Borrowing costs are spiking, growth is sputtering at under 1%, and the European Commission is breathing down its neck with warnings of sanctions. Yet, the French government clings to its spending spree like a lover unwilling to let go. This isn't just fiscal folly, it's a national drama unfolding in real time, where pride, politics, and peril collide. Buckle up, because we're diving into the heart of France's refusal to cut public spending, a story of defiance that could reshape Europe's future. Let me take you back to where this tale really begins, not in some sterile boardroom, but on the rain-slicked streets of Paris in late 2024. Imagine Marie, a 52-year-old nurse in a bustling hospital on the city's outskirts. She's been pulling 12-hour shifts since the pandemic, her scrub stained with the sweat of caring for the elderly and the exhausted. Marie's salary hasn't budged in years, but her rent has soared, and her pension feels like a distant dream eroded by inflation. One crisp December morning, as she sips her morning espresso amid headlines screaming about budget Armageddon, Marie scrolls through her phone. The government's just unveiled its 2025 plan, a whopping €60 billion in tax hikes and spending trims to slash the deficit from 6% to 5%. Sounds prudent, right? But wait, Prime Minister Michel Barnier, a grizzled conservative with a mustache that screams old-school austerity, pitches it as a sword of Damocles hanging over the economy. Marie chuckles bitterly. They say cut, but who feels the blade? Not the elites in their ivory towers. Barnier's gamble was bold: hike taxes on the rich, cap welfare reimbursements, and freeze civil service hires. It was meant to be the hero's journey in fiscal terms, slay the deficit dragon and restore France's credit rating, which agencies like Moody's were itching to downgrade. But France isn't your typical storybook kingdom. It's a place where the social safety net isn't just policy, it's woven into the national soul. Public spending accounts for 56% of GDP, funding everything from cradle-to-grave healthcare to generous unemployment benefits that let you collect 57% of your prior salary for up to 2 years. Cut that? It's like asking Parisians to give up wine with dinner. Protests erupted faster than you can say Gillet's Jean. Remember the yellow vests of 2018? This was their sequel: truckers blocking boulevards, farmers dumping manure on ministry steps, and students chanting against austerity for the masses, champagne for the ministers. Barnier's arc took a tragic turn in December 2024. His minority government, cobbled together after Emmanuel Macron's snap elections left Parliament a fractured mess, couldn't muster the votes. Left-wing firebrands decried the cuts as an assault on the working class. The far-right National Rally smelled blood and bayed for more protectionism over penny pinching. A no-confidence vote felled Barnier like a felled oak, his budget bill left in tatters. Enter François Bayrou, the centrist cowboy appointed in his stead, a folksy Béarnais with a penchant for horses and a reputation as a debt hawk. Bayrou rode into office promising stability, but his script was straight out of a Greek tragedy: more cuts, or else. Hey, if you're captivated by France's high-stakes economic drama, hit the like button to show your love. And don't miss out, subscribe now to stay up to date on every twist and turn of the global financial saga. Let's continue unraveling these stories together. Fast forward to spring 2025, and Bayrou's facing his own rising action. The economy's growth forecast? Revised down to 0.8%, thanks to US tariffs under President Trump slamming French exports. Think luxury goods and Airbus parts gathering dust in warehouses. Inflation's eased to 1.4%, but energy prices are volatile, and unemployment ticks up to 7.5%. The IMF drops a bombshell in May: France might hit its 5.4% deficit target for the year, but without sustained reforms, it'll balloon to 6% medium term, pushing debt to unsustainable heights. Bayrou, ever the storyteller himself, addresses the National Assembly: "We've become addicted to public cash. It's time to detox." His antidote? Freeze €5 billion in spending immediately, cap health outlays at €5 billion growth, and, gasp, slash 3,000 civil service jobs while merging redundant agencies. Back to Marie. By now, her hospital's rationing bandages because reimbursements for patient transport are trimmed. She's not alone. Across France, 67 million people rely on a welfare state that's the envy, and envy inducer, of Europe. Pensions alone gobble 14% of GDP, healthcare another 12%. Why the resistance? It's the villain in our tale: France's deep-seated fear of inequality. The French Revolution wasn't just about liberty, it was about fraternity, sharing the load so no one starves in the shadows of Versailles. Polls in June 2025 show 62% of voters oppose cuts to social benefits, even as 71% worry about the debt. Enter the plot twist: politics. Macron's Renaissance Party holds just 168 seats in the 577-member assembly, a plurality, but no majority. Bayrou needs socialists on the left, who demand tax justice over spending slashes, and conservatives on the right, who want welfare walls built higher. The far left France Unbowed calls austerity murderous, the National Rally whispers of globalist plots. It's gridlock, French style, a chamber where bills die in filibusters, and compromise is as rare as a quiet cafe. As summer heats up, the stakes climb. In July, Bayrou unveils his masterstroke, a €43.8 billion savings plan for 2026, aiming to drop the deficit to 4.6%. Highlights? Eliminate 2 public holidays, maybe Easter Monday and May Day on May 8th, to add 0.3% to GDP via extra workdays. Freeze benefits, wages, and tax brackets at 2025 levels for a €7.1 billion windfall. Reform unemployment insurance to push folks back to work faster, and unify social allowances to reward employment. Even development aid gets axed, €21 billion sliced by 14%, the sharpest cut yet. Bayrou sells it as salvation: we're not cutting, we're redirecting to growth. But the streets roar back. Unions mobilize 500,000 in Paris alone, waving signs that read no to the holiday heist. Pensioners, those guardians of La République's golden years, blockade town halls, their walkers forming human barricades. Marie joins them, her voice hoarse: they took our holidays, next, they'll take our humanity. The climax hits like a summer storm in September. Bayrou, cornered, calls a confidence vote to ram his plan through. It's a high-wire act: survive, and he's the deficit slayer; fall, and France edges closer to the precipice. The chamber crackles with tension. Far-right leader Marine Le Pen smirks from the benches, leftists pound podiums, Macron watches from the Élysée like a king surveying his crumbling court. The vote, 364 to 194 against. Bayrou's government topples, the 5th in 20 months. Chaos ensues, markets wobble, the 10-year bond yield spikes to 3.2%, and credit raters murmur of downgrades. Sébastien Lecornu steps in as interim PM, but his cabinet recycle sparks instant backlash. By October, as leaves turn gold along the Seine, France is without a stable helm, its 2026 budget a ghost in the machine. So, what's the denouement in this unfinished epic? France's refusal to gut public spending isn't mere stubbornness, it's a cultural fortress. Born from post-World War II reconstruction, when the state rebuilt a shattered nation with jobs, homes, and hope, this model birthed the 35-hour workweek, lavish parental leave, and universal childcare. It's why France ranks high in life satisfaction despite middling growth. People feel secure, even if taxes devour 45% of income. But security breeds complacency. Economists at ING warn the 2025 budget slippage risk is very high. Local elections in 2026 could balloon spending further. The EU's new fiscal rules demand deficits below 3% by 2029, or face fines up to 0.1% of GDP. Ignore them, and France risks isolation, higher rates, and a self-fulfilling crisis. Yet, glimmers of hope flicker. Bayrou's reforms, diluted but passed piecemeal, include that unified allowance, piloted in trials, it's nudging 200,000 into jobs. Tax hikes on high earners and airlines rake in €10 billion, easing the pain without full austerity. Macron, ever the plotter, hints at national dialogue post-elections, perhaps blending cuts with green investments to appease the eco-left. And Marie? She's organizing a union chapter, channeling fury into votes. We won't let them dismantle what makes us French, she tells me over a virtual coffee. Her story mirrors millions, resilience forged in refusal. France's saga teaches us this: economies aren't spreadsheets, they're human odysseys. In clinging to spending, France buys time, but at what cost? If it bends without breaking, it could pioneer a social capitalism that balances equity and efficiency. If not, the next chapter might be written in defaults and divisions. As investors eye Paris warily and Brussels sharpens its quill, one question lingers: will France rewrite its ending, or let the deficit dragon devour the dream? The curtain's still up, stay tuned.